Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's class. We're still continuing on the topic of world of work, but this week we are looking at needs in the community and country. South African needs, economic and socio-economic needs in the country. Communities battle against poverty, especially in child headed households. There has been a breakdown in family support systems and more orphaned children due to deaths through HIV and AIDS and related illnesses. So, a whole lot of people in South Africa actually battle with poverty. So it's because of child-headed households. In most rural areas, we actually have child-headed household because parents actually died through HIV and AIDS or and related illnesses. Um, or domestic violence and parent moving to cities to look for work and leaving children with elderly grandparents. So you find that a mother or a father has left the homeland and they have moved to the city so that they can look for better jobs or they can look for employment. And so you find that kids are left alone or with grandparents. Inadequate healthcare facilities have been the cause of a great number of deaths against babies and children. Hospitals are understaffed and often don't have sufficient medicine stocks. So now you find that because public hospitals have are understaffed, so it's also what causes death in South Africa, or inadequate healthcare facilities. You might find that they don't have the correct equipment, or they don't have the medication that you might be looking for or that a person might need to be treated for whatever illness. So you find that things get worse and then people die, or because maybe there are no beds. There's been a recent things happening online where the people are complaining that, oh, people sleep on the floor. The hospitals don't have beds. So that's another reason, is because um it's overcrowded. So when it's overcrowded, and you can't find a bed, they have to find a bed if you're critical at a certain hospital close by. And you might find that transporting you from the first hospital to the next one, complications happen along the way. A lack of proper housing, along with poor or no supplies of electricity, clean water, and sanitation, results in communities living in unhealthy conditions. Many people tend to crime as a means of providing basic necessities. So we know that when poverty is high, the crime rate is also high because they sort of go hand in hand. People don't know or don't have the means to actually make their needs met. So they think or they resort to crime thinking that that's the best solution for them to actually make sure that their families eat or themselves are actually fed. Some communities you find that they don't have electricity or clean water. Sometimes they don't even have water at all. So they actually make people end up living in unhealthy and unsanitary conditions. Many children still do not have access to quality education. The government tries because there are public schools where people don't have to pay, but a lot of kids, or not all kids, actually have access to quality education. There is a shortage of suitable school buildings and qualified teachers. So, because there's that shortage, other kids or other children actually don't have access to good education. Many children run away and live in the streets in towns and cities where they support themselves by begging and sometimes stealing. Many adults have not had access to education and find it difficult to find jobs. With no income, they cannot provide for the economic needs of their families. So we understand that because now, if you don't have an education or you are not educated, you won't be able to get a proper paying job, or you will struggle to actually find a job. Some kids, because of the situations at home, the poverty, they tend to run away from home and go to the cities and go to the streets, and they start begging, thinking that it will make things a bit easier for them. In order to solve this community and country's economic needs, these issues need to be solved. Some ideas for doing this include providing more training programs in increasing skills of the youth, vocational based training to provide more technical skills, and the creation of more jobs and opportunities for all people. So that's why you find that there are learnerships for people who don't actually have qualifications, so that they can learn skills that are needed. Most times, these learnerships are designed or targeted at youth. So it's actually a good idea because they are going to help the country's economic and community's economic needs. They help assist in solving these problems that we have mentioned, things like poverty. And now we'll move on to a newspaper article, which is now a case study. The newspaper article below identifies a number of important social and economic needs that affect all of us in some way or another. One of South Africa's most important social needs is to reduce poverty at both the community and national level. A large proportion of South Africa's population lives in poverty, and their basic right to a safe living environment is not met. People who do not have safe, secure accommodation with basic services such as electricity, water, and sewage are vulnerable to diseases and are more likely to experience social and economic hardships. So, if you stay in a place where you're not safe or secure, or you don't have basic services like water or sewage or clean water, life seems to be a bit difficult for you. This intent can impact on levels of violence and abuse, which hamper people's ability to overcome poverty. The more there's abuse, the more there's actually violence, the more people actually don't have the ability to overcome poverty. A high level of unemployment is another social need that needs to be addressed. We know that the South African unemployment rate is skyrocketed. It's so up there, it's high. So it's also one of the things, one of the problems that need to be addressed. So too is equal access to a good education and access to good, affordable health care. If the economic needs of South Africa are addressed, then this and other social needs can be addressed more easily. The economic needs of South Africa can be broadly addressed through one, availability of more jobs, two, a bigger workforce of skilled workers, three, increased productivity. So, the economic needs of our country can be addressed by, if there were jobs available, more jobs available to the youth, because the unemployment rate is just so high, it's actually alarming. So, a bigger workforce of skilled workers, people need to be skilled so that there can be a broader workforce as well. If these issues can be addressed, then improved economic growth in the country will lead to improvements in the delivery of social needs in our communities. Growth in South Africa economy will also impact on key social and economic needs such as reduced employment, reduced poverty, and reduced inequality. So, if we are able to address those and these issues are improved, then we know that South Africa's economy will actually grow. We will see it grow, and the key social and economic needs like employment will be reduced as well. Now we'll move on to the role of work in relation to South Africa's social and economic needs. Every person needs food and water to stay alive. These are physiological needs and they are the most basic need that people have. After food and water, people have other basic needs like clothing and shelter, as well as safety and security. Most basic needs cost money, and these needs are therefore also economic needs. Work provides people with an income so that they can pay for these economic needs. So when you work, you'll be able to afford and pay for these economic needs like your water and food. Work also fulfills social needs. Social needs include things like friendship, community, loving relationships, and sense of belonging. So when you work or you have a job, you have co-workers, you build good relationships, you have a sense of community, you build friendships as well, and you have a sense of belonging. Work can fulfill other needs, for example, the ability to accomplish things, the opportunity to be productive, and the chance to tackle new challenges and to develop our skills. So when you have a job or when you work, you actually become productive, your brain works. So you're able to put your brain to work. So you'll be able to tackle challenges or new challenges because your brain is working on a daily basis. And now we will move on to how work can meet social and economic needs in South Africa. As a developing country, South Africa's greatest economic need is to find more employment and work opportunities for people in society. Different types of work meet different social and economic needs, and all kind of work are important for a healthy society. So every job is important for the society. It's important so that we can have a healthy society. Big companies employ lots of people and create many work opportunities, but small companies and self employed individuals play an equally valuable role in addressing the social and economic needs of communities and the country. Work provides people with an opportunity to apply these skills and contribute to the improvement of their lives and those of their families. So even if you have a small business or you're self-employed, and even having a job or when you work, it gives you the opportunity to apply the skills that you actually have and to help improve the lives of those around you, the lives of your family, and your life as well. Our country needs people to work in all different fields to ensure that we have a strong economy that supports the social needs of all South Africans. So we we actually need people to work in all different fields so that we can strongly support the economy, and it also support the social needs of the people of South Africa. Um, you have learned that employment serves a vital role in meeting these economic needs that all people have. It is just as important to address the social needs in South Africa as we consider the economic needs in the country. So, in your LMS, you have this PDF. There are case studies. Please go through these case studies. It's about Masha, and then there's also a case study on Msizi, and there's also a case study on Jolene. Go through them, and you will furthermore understand the social and economic need that is played by each person.